Okay, so I keep coming back to this document we're looking at, this tech house story, EO4 Underground.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to make sense of it because it feels like it's almost trying to start a fight.
It's definitely making a statement, a very optimistic one, I'd say.
Optimistic is a good word for it.
Yeah.
You're talking about that big headline, right? The underground stays true part.
That's the one. All caps, exclamation mark. It's not subtle.
Not at all. And then for its proof, for its big evidence, it lists Patrick Topping.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I love a Patrick Topping set, don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But the guy is a headliner. I mean, he is the festival main stage. If he's what we're calling underground, then I feel like words have kind of lost their meaning, you know?
See, I think that's the cynical take. You're looking at Spotify numbers, at ticket sales.
Well, yeah.
This document, though, I think it's arguing for a totally different definition of underground, one that has basically nothing to do with popularity.
So what's it about then?
It's all about sonic integrity, the sound itself.
But isn't that just what everyone says when they get huge, oh, I'm still underground at heart, you know, while they're cashing a massive check from some mega festival?
A lot of the time, yes. But look at the company he's in on this list. It's not just a bunch of chart toppers.
True.
The source puts him right there with solid grooves, with hot since '82, and then it takes this massive pivot into Romanian minimal, Priku and Raresh.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
That grouping is so deliberate. It's building a story. It's trying to paint a picture of a really healthy, diverse ecosystem.
So it's less of a playlist and more of a status report on the scene?
I think it's a manifesto of resilience. It's looking at the scene right now and saying, hey, despite all the commercial stuff, the soul is still here. But to really get why they included someone like Patrick Topping, I think you have to start with the very first name.
Solid Grooves.
Solid Grooves.
Okay, let's start there. Because if any brand defines that modern tech house sound, it's them. They're enormous.
They are, but think about how they got so big. It wasn't by making, radio-friendly edits.
Yeah.
They did it by leaning into a very specific sound, that rolling, super bass-heavy groove.
The groover sound, yeah, it's totally distinct. You hear a Solid Grooves track and you know it in like 4 bars.
Exactly. It's got that low-end rumble. It's a bit darker, a bit cheeky. And that sound, for a long time, that was strictly for dark basements. For clubs, Solid Grooves, as a collective, somehow took that cool underground vibe and managed to scale it up to huge outdoor stages without really changing the ingredients.
That's a really good point. They didn't start adding pop vocals or
those big cheesy EDM drops.
Right. If you go to one of their parties, even if it's for 5,000 people, the music is still pretty stripped back. It's more heads down than hands in the air.
Exactly. And that's why the source puts them first. Underground stays true. They're the prime example of scaling a community without watering down the product. They kind of proved that the underground sound could actually be commercially viable on its own.
I guess my only hesitation there is that once a brand gets that big, with merch and residencies all over the world, it just stops feeling like a secret. And for a lot of people, underground means secret. It means I know about this and you don't.
But that's just gatekeeping, isn't it? I mean, is the music good? Is the vibe right?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, does it really matter if 10,000 other people are in on it? This source is basically arguing that, no, it doesn't matter at all.
All right, okay. Let's test that theory then with the next names on the list. The heavy hitters. Hot since '82 and Patrick Topping.
The pillars in the modern scene, yeah.
Again, these guys are absolute titans. I mean, Patrick Topping has tracks that are anthems. B Sharp Say Nout. That is not some subtle little B-side.
No, it's a weapon.
It's a weapon, exactly. It's designed to just destroy a dance floor. And hot since '82. Daly's been at the top of his game for, over a decade now? He's a gateway artist for so many people.
And gateway is the perfect word. So why do you think this source lists them as proof that the underground is holding strong?
Honestly, that's the part I struggle with. To me, they kind of represent the festival side of things.
Okay, but listen to a Hot Since '82 set. Like, really listen to the journey he takes you on. He plays these long, extended mixes. He layers these beautiful melodic parts over really driving percussion. He's not just playing 3-minute hits. It's proper club music, just on a much, much louder sound system.
So the format hasn't changed, just the size of the stage.
Precisely. And think about the whole sellout path. Usually when a DJ gets that big, they start doing tracks with pop stars, right?
Right, chasing the American radio market or something.
Exactly. But neither Topping nor Hot Since '82 have really done that. They've stayed in their lane. They just made the lane a whole lot wider.
That's true. You don't see Patrick Topping on a track with, I don't know, Taylor Swift. He's still putting out gritty, weird stuff on his own label.
And that's what the source is getting at. Underground stays true doesn't mean underground stays small and poor. It means the standard of the music stays the same. These guys act like a shield. They pull in the big crowds, give them a real taste of the proper sound, and that keeps the whole ecosystem fed.
Okay, I can see that. So they're like the recruiters. They bring people into the fold. But if that's the, let's call it the accessible end of this list, the source takes a really, really sharp turn with the next entry.
The pivot. This, for me, is the most fascinating part of the whole document.
Romanian minimal. And they specifically name Priku and Raresh.
Now we're talking.
This is why I think this document is so interesting. You can't just casually put Patrick Topping and Raresh in the same thought without acknowledging a massive, massive difference in philosophy.
It's a chasm. It really is. If Patrick Topping is like a shot of tequila, Raresh is a slow drip coffee that takes about 4 hours to properly appreciate.
Okay, break that down for anyone who hasn't gone deep down that Romanimal rabbit hole. What are we actually talking about here sound-wise?
So Romanimal, or the Romanian sound, is just, it's fascinating because it rejects almost everything that makes tech house popular.
Like what?
Well, there are no big drops, ever. Vocals are super rare, and if they're there, they're chopped up into just like little textures. And the tracks are long. I'm talking 12, 15, even 20 minutes long.
And it's all about the loops. It's incredibly repetitive.
But that's the whole point. It's micro house. It's about tiny, subtle shifts, a hi-hat pattern changing just a little bit, or a bass line that evolves almost imperceptibly over 32 bars. It's designed to put you in a trance. You don't dance to it to go wild. You dance to it to get lost.
It definitely requires patience. That's what I always notice with Priku stuff. You have to totally submit to it. You can't be on your phone waiting for the big moment.
You can't. It demands active listening. So the big question is, why does the source put Priku and Raresh right next to solid grooves?
To show the full spectrum exists.
To show the depth exists. If this list was just Hot Since '82 and Patrick Topping, you could easily argue the scene has become too commercial. But by planting a flag with Raresh, who is an absolute legend from the A.Arpia.R crew, the source is shouting, look, we haven't lost the art form.
It's a validation. It's saying, yeah, we have the big fireworks, but we still have the quiet meditation too.
And it's not like Raresh is some unknown producer. He plays huge festivals like Sunwaves. But the key is he plays his sound. He doesn't speed up the tracks. He doesn't play shorter edits. He makes the crowd come to his world.
That is a total power move.
Yeah.
Playing a 15-minute minimal track at sunrise to thousands of people takes some serious confidence.
It takes confidence in the culture. And that is what this document's about, confidence. It's saying the underground isn't this tiny, fragile thing that shatters if it gets popular. It's robust. It can handle a Patrick Topping festival set, and it can handle a 24-hour Priku marathon.
That brings us to the final claim in the text. And this is the one that I think earned your optimistic label at the start.
Festival versus underground coexist.
With the exclamation mark, of course. Coexist.
It's a complete rejection of that old binary thinking.
But is it actually true? I mean, from what I've seen, festivals usually eat the underground for lunch. They book the cool new DJs, stick them on a side stage at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And a year later, that same DJ is on the main stage, and their sound is completely watered down. It feels more like a conveyor belt than a coexistence.
That is the cynical view, and you're right, history has a lot of examples of that. But look at the landscape today. You have entire festivals dedicated to this deeper sound. You have the biggest festivals in the world curating these really specific, deep stages. The source is arguing the war is over, we're in a truce.
A truce? Or an assimilation.
Think of it more like a symbiotic relationship. The big festivals need that cool factor from the underground to sell tickets to people who know their stuff.
Right.
And the underground artists need those festival paychecks to fund their labels, press their vinyl, and do their more artistic niche projects.
So in a way, Patrick Topping's fee helps pay for Raresh to keep pressing records.
In a very roundabout way, yes. The whole ecosystem needs that flow of money and attention. If everyone just stayed in a dark room playing for 50 people, the scene would die. If everyone played mainstage EDM, it would lose its soul. This document is arguing that right now we've actually found a pretty good balance.
Balance. That feels like a very delicate thing, though.
It is. But look at the list again. Solid Grooves is the bridge. They sit perfectly in the middle. They have the cool underground credibility of the minimal scene, but the raw energy of the big room. They are the living proof that you can exist in both of those worlds at the same time.
That's a really sharp point. Solid Grooves is the glue holding this whole argument together. They explain how you can get from Raresh all the way over to Hot Since 82.
They're the common language, exactly.
So, okay, if we accept this idea that the underground is staying true, it's coexisting with the festival world, what does that mean for you, the listener, for the person who's just trying to find good music?
It means you can stop worrying so much about the labels. You don't have to feel guilty for loving a massive Hot Since 82 track. And you don't have to feel like you're being pretentious for loving Romanian. It's all part of the same story.
It's all tech house, just different dialects.
Different dialects of the same language. The source is giving us all permission to just enjoy the whole spectrum. It's saying the underground isn't a physical place anymore. It's not a specific club in Berlin or Bucharest.
It's a standard.
It's a standard of quality, a standard that runs through all of these artists.
I like that. The idea that underground is a frequency, not a location.
Right. And as long as that frequency is still being broadcast, whether it's on a massive festival sound system or tiny club monitors, the culture is safe.
Okay, I have to push back one last time, though. I feel like we're letting the festivals off the hook a little too easily here.
Go for it.
If the underground and the festival can just coexist so peacefully, doesn't the underground lose its edge, its danger? I mean, part of the appeal of that warehouse scene was that it felt a bit subversive. It felt like it was outside the system. If it's just stage B at some corporate event, aren't we all just consuming another product?
That's the eternal question of any counterculture, isn't it? Can you really be anti-establishment when the establishment is signing your checks?
Exactly. If Raresh is on the same lineup as the DJ who throws cakes at people, is what he's doing still subversive?
I would argue yes. Yes, it is, if he doesn't change his music. If he gets on that stage and plays 15-minute hypnotic loops to a crowd that's expecting a big drop every 60 seconds, that in itself is a deeply subversive act.
Oh, that's true. It's almost more punk to bore the main stage crowd than to play the hits.
Well, bore might be a strong word. Maybe educate or challenge them. But yeah, to keep your artistic integrity in an environment that's built for mass consumption. That's the ultimate test. And this source is claiming these artists are passing it.
Underground stays true. This hell of a claim.
It is. It's a very high bar.
But, you know, looking at this list, Solid Grooves, Hot Since 82, Patrick Topping, Priku, Raresh. I'm actually starting to believe it for now. Anyway.
For now, the ecosystem is always shifting. But as of right now, the vital signs look pretty strong.
So here's my final thought for you listening at home. Next time you see a festival lineup, don't just look at who has the biggest name. Look for the threads. Look for the connections between the huge sound and the minimal sound.
And ask yourself, is the music compromising? Or is it just getting louder?
That's the question. Because if Patrick Topping and Raresh can coexist on this one document, maybe they can coexist in your playlist too.
Ideally, they already are.
Thanks for breaking this one down. It's a really fascinating snapshot of a scene that just refuses to stay put.
Anytime.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive. Keep digging.